Palm oil is a type of vegetable oil that is derived from the palm fruit, grown on the African oil palm tree. Oil palms are originally from Western Africa but can flourish wherever heat and rainfall are abundant, such as the rainforest biomes of Southeast Asia. In total, tens of millions of tons of palm oil is produced annually, accounting for over 30% of the world's vegetable oil production. This single vegetable oil is found in approximately 40 to 50% of household products in many developed countries like Australia. However, these large production rates can cause for many unsustainable farming measures. Palm oil production in Southeast Asia is linked to severe threats and issues to the rainforest biomes, such as habitat degradation, animal cruelty, and indigenous rights abuse, with the largest threats being deforestation and climate change. Today, palm oil production is the largest cause of deforestation in Indonesia and other equatorial countries with dwindling expanses of tropical rainforests. Deforestation in Southeast Asia caused by clearance for palm oil production is a very dangerous threat to the rainforest biomes, as it can also lead to lethal effects on population of species living in the rainforest and is a significant contributor to lack of biodiversity. According to the World Wildlife Fund, an area the equivalent size of 300 football fields of rainforest is cleared out each hour to provide land for palm oil production. This large-scale deforestation then causes for major habitat degradation, which then pushes many species to extinction. Findings show that if sustainable measures are not put in place, species like the orangutan could become extinct in the wild within the next 5 to 10 years, and Sumatran tigers less than 3 years. There are over 300,000 different animals found throughout the rainforest biomes of Southeast Asia, with many of which are injured, killed, and displaced during deforestation. In addition, deforestation due to palm oil development increases accessibility of animals to poachers and wildlife smugglers who capture and sell wildlife as pets, use them for medicinal purposes, or kill them for their body parts. Combined, all these implications of palm oil production cause for large-scale loss of biodiversity. Large-scale deforestation has also caused climate change. Deforestation in Southeast Asia for palm oil production also contributes significantly to climate change. The removal of the native forests often involves the burning of invaluable timber and remaining forest undergrowth, emitting immense quantities of smoke into the atmosphere and making Indonesia the third highest greenhouse gas emitter in the world. In Indonesia and Malaysia, deforestation to clear land for palm oil production is especially polluting because it often happens on peat lands, unique wetland ecosystems that store massive amounts of carbon. Peat soils are composed of partially decomposed layers of vegetation that accumulate over millennia, sometimes reaching a depth of up to 65 feet. While forests are huge storehouses for carbon, peat soils are even richer stores of carbon, containing as much as 28 times more CO2 than the forests themselves. According to the United Nations Environment Programme, peatland destruction can result in more than 2,000% more greenhouse gas emissions than burning diesel oil. This all has an extreme effect on the environment, as with the increased gas emissions, damage to the ozone layer is increased as well, causing for clearance of rainforest biomes in Southeast Asia for palm oil production to be a massive contributor to global warming, which is known to have lethal effects on not only the ecosystems, but humans. However, ways to help the cause have been applied. Strategies to reduce the detrimental impacts of palm oil production on Southeast Asia have been underway, with 180 governments, companies, indigenous peoples organizations, and non-governmental organizations have signed the New York Declaration of Forests, NYDF. It calls for ending deforestation from the production of agricultural commodities such as palm oil production by no later than 2020, as part of a broader goal of reducing deforestation by 50% by 2020 and eliminating it by 2030, therefore saving countless species whose habitats have been destroyed by palm oil production. In response to these environmental and social concerns, conservation group WWF teamed up with the palm oil industry to launch the RSPO, a multi-stakeholder body, in 2004. One of the body's top mandates has been to define what sustainable palm oil production entails and to develop a credible standard to reflect. This sustainable palm oil production makes companies follow a strict criteria to make sure the practices are sustainable. Also, like deforestation, there are strategies that have been put in place to reduce the climate change caused by palm oil production, such as policies like REDD+, which offers rewards to developing countries for reducing their deforestation rates. It is one of the best, most affordable strategies for reducing tropical deforestation, and therefore reducing gas emissions and palm oil production contribution to global warming. In conclusion, palm oil production in Southeast Asia is a significant threat to the surrounding environment and has involved itself in numerous unsustainable practices. This has then caused for many detrimental short and long-term impacts on the rainforest biomes and the animals that call it home. These impacts are habitat degradation, animal cruelty, indigenous rights abuse, deforestation, and climate change. And if these are not dealt with, they could have impacts worldwide, such as species extinction and global warming. However, there have been counteracts to these unsustainable measures to help reduce the impacts of these effects.